your CIGTV News Update. I'm Donna Bush. Thanks for joining me. It is that time of the year when school leaving ceremonies and graduations are held for students of all ages. Over on Cayman, graduates in the 2019 class of the Layman E. Scott High School and West End Primary School walked the stage, receiving their diplomas and other awards. Most recently, Minister for Education, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor Connolly, had the honour of visiting her home on Cayman to attend the graduation ceremony for Layman Scott High School, which saw our island's first high school graduation for the season.
For you to soar, you have to take off all weights. For you to soar, you have to have that ability to have a vision. You also have to have that keen and unique ability to realize that yes, you can dream, and if you are dreaming, dream big. As Amway Corporation says, if you can't dream big, don't dream at all. I don't quite concur with that, but it made them successful. And for each and every individual, success is not a formula. Success is not a vitamin. Success is not an injection. And no, it doesn't come from going to the gym. Success comes from working assiduously despite your surroundings, and despite your surroundings, having that attitude, regardless of the altitude, that I am going to succeed.
Of the 21 high school graduates on the BRAC, 12 students received level 2 diplomas with honors or high honors. So far this year, 120 primary school students have left Year 6, moving on to the high school, while 21 boys and girls from Layman E. Scott will move on to university or the world of work. We say congratulations to all the students attending school leaving ceremonies and graduations over the past few weeks. The government ministers and MLAs and officials such as the Honourable Moses Colonel have been attending these events, along with the Honourable Dwayne Seymour and, of course, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor Connolly, Education Minister, who has attended each ceremony, presenting awards and offering words of encouragement to the graduates. Now, graduations for Clifton Hunter and John Gray High Schools will take place at the end of August. Join us tomorrow when we continue our rounds of graduations and school leaving ceremonies with Minister O'Connor Connolly. Well, a press release from the Ministry of Community Affairs shares the news of government's unwavering support to 5 nonprofit organizations over the years, totaling almost $2.5 million annually. Recognizing the important functions that these entities provide in our communities, such support from the Cayman Islands government has been consistent for more than a decade. As the ministry compiles its 2020-2021 budget, it again is pledging to maintain the current level of funding to the NPOs, namely the Pines Retirement Home, the National Council of Voluntary Organizations, the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, Rehoboth After School Program, and Meals on Wheels. In addition to the grants, extra government funding and services have also been provided through the DG's 5K Challenge, with assistance with food deliveries and other fundraisers. Now, Chief Officer Teresa Inchiniki says that with the need to earmark funds for various community initiatives and services, it is not always possible for the ministry to increase funding at each budget cycle. As a result, they're encouraging the private sector and the public as a whole to partner with and support these remarkable entities by contributing financially and on a voluntary basis. She concluded, for more on this story, of course, you can go online to gov.ky, that's gov.ky. Also making our headlines today, recently Director General of the National Weather Service, Mr. John Tibbetts, talked with us about the predicted 2019 hurricane season, how climate change impacts storms in the region, and how much better prepared we are as a country should any storm head our way. Today, Mr. Tibbetts has a reminder for the public.
First of all, regardless of the hurricane seasonal predictions, we stand by one very simple rule, and that is it only takes one storm for you to remember it. Some of the greatest storms in history came in seasons in which it wasn't particularly active. It's just that one storm that stood out. And if you're a country that got hit by that major storm, we will never believe that it was an inactive year, as it were. You should also realize that we've got a fairly strong, robust disaster management system here on the island. Strong Hazards Management Cayman Islands and a National Hurricane Committee, as it were, as well as a strong National Weather Service to provide warnings and to give you ample time to make decisions regarding any storms that might impact the area.
And the hurricane season ends on November 30th. Now, for a look at our weekly schedule of programs here on CIG Television, you can go online to gis.gov.ky. If you happen to have missed today's news update, you can go to the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page or the CIG Television YouTube channel. I'm Donna Bush, thanking you for joining me, hoping you'll do the same again tomorrow. Until then, be safe and have a wonderful night. Did you know that planning permission is required for a shed? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know planning permission is required to clear land by mechanical means? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required.
Boating, fishing, and water sports in the Cayman Islands are great, but keep a cool head. Here are 7 tips for fun and safe sea outings. Number 1. Use a checklist to plan your outing. Check the weather forecast, make a float plan, and share it with someone who is remaining on land, stating where you're going, with whom, and when you're expected to return. Visit your nearest marine supply store to get your safety gear. This includes signaling mirrors, whistles, and a flare kit. It's also very important to have onboard flotation devices and life vests for each person. There are different types of vests. Some are for water sport activities such as snorkeling, and others are for going on offshore boating or on fishing trips. Number 2. These items can be lifesavers in case of an accident or bad weather. Number 3. Use a motor kill switch, especially if you're boating alone. In case of a leak or breakdown, always stay with the boat until help arrives. If you capsize, an emergency beacon or locator device can send a distress signal to inform the authorities of your location. Larger flares will indicate distress to a boat, airplane, or search and rescue officials. Number 4. In addition to sunscreen, food, and beverages, it would be smart to have a cell phone. Make sure your marine radio works. Cayman's boaters use Channel 16 to communicate. Number 5. Also, don't forget your anchor and sufficient rope. Number 6. Boat operators should be familiar with the local waters and reefs, as well as the capabilities and functions of the vessels they are using. Always obey the rules of the sea and the marine environment, and have courtesy for others. Number 7. Alcohol and salt water do not mix, especially if you're the captain. Some useful contact numbers are 911. The RCIPS Marine Base is 649-7710, and the Port Authority is 949-2055. Smooth sailing, all!